Nigeria, Nigeria. Honestly, if I was not born in Nigeria, I would have felt cheated. There's so much drama in this country. It's unbelievable. Every day it's one thing or the other. So yesterday, on the Twitter handle of Agbakoba, I always put V at that B instead of it's Agbakoba. On his Twitter handle. So let me just read out what the handle says. So it's now I always still call it Twitter. It's X handle, right? And it's at O Agbakoba, Dr. Olisa Agbakoba, SAN. He says this madness of Chicago State University must stop now. Bam, 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 with 3 exclamation marks. The cacophony of discordant voices on Tinubu/Atiku over the certificate matter is completely out of hand. The utter nonsense from armchair lawyers is heating up Nigeria dangerously. Please, can we keep our opinions and views to ourselves, awaiting a decision of the Supreme Court? And then he says, I'm so ashamed to see lawyers on television arguing one way or the other on the merits or demerits of the Chicago State University matter. This is most unhelpful. I call out all media that tolerate this nonsense of adjudicating the CSU matter on TV and television. I urge the president of Nigerian Bar Association to call out lawyers that breach rules of ethics by turning the media into a court of law. Can we please stop heating up our country? Let us allow the Supreme Court of Nigeria to make a judicial pronouncement which is binding on us all. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Do they have the judgment of the Supreme Court at hand? Or I don't understand what is going on now. This public nonsense must stop. OA. So he puts it on it because normally when people have someone else who is managing their accounts, what they usually do, they will mention their initials. But me, I'm still thinking in my head, I'm still thinking and saying, maybe there is how do I put it now? Maybe there is something. He will come out and say, no, this was not for him or whatever, because I just don't understand it. So the NBA should not call out lawyers and not talk. So when he was on TV, it's okay when he's on TV, NBA shouldn't call him out. Is it other people to call out? Or there's something that I'm not understanding? I mean, I'm still giving the benefit of that, or like, okay, maybe he's not the one that made this. Maybe I've tried to check for any context that I can see. Honestly, I can tell you for sure that I'm not seeing any context. I'm not... The contest is not contesting where I am. But anyway, why don't you let's just listen to him a few I think a few months ago or thereabout, or was it last year? I can't remember, but where he was saying that he does not believe in the this thing, what do you call it now? Supreme Court. He has no confidence in the Supreme Court. It's not say, oh, we should not all now wait. But anyway, just take a listen.
I've lost a bit of confidence in what the courts have been doing lately. I mean, there was a time you could say, oh, on the facts and the law, this is the likely outcome. Today you cannot, because there have been all kinds of silly decisions. The most silly was that concerning the President of the Senate, who, in order to become Nigerian president, rushed off to buy a ticket to be a presidential candidate of the APC. And that meant he did not take part in the senatorials. Lo and behold, he lost. He now ran back after the horse had bolted, clearly to anybody who has any brain, including the justices of the Supreme Court I might add. And he said no, that the man actually should be the senatorial candidate. That is the most ridiculous decision I've ever heard that the Supreme Court had delivered. So that's why it's difficult. Of course, I don't want to talk about the case of Imo State, where everything was turned upside down. So I don't have the sort of confidence that I used to have in the judiciary.
Okay, I'm sure that you've heard that, right? So if the NBA did not call him to order when he was doing that. Why should NBA be calling other people to order? Don't people have a right to come out and express themselves on media? Don't lawyers have a right to do that? Yeah, they are not the ones in the case. If it was even the lawyers, the counsels on the matter that were out talking, we wouldn't say a different thing, but all lawyers shouldn't say anything. They shouldn't have an opinion on issues. So does that mean that lawyers should not talk? Abi, when it was Midsommar's forgery case, where any lawyer stopped from talking, where did they say that lawyers shouldn't talk? Lawyers didn't have anything to say and all of that. Why is there a difference? And then what's happening? What has changed between the Olisa Agbakoba of yesterday and the Olisa Agbakoba of today? Is there a difference? Is there not the same issue? Trust Nigerians to bring out also a lot of things, especially this new era of internet and everything. People brought out this PM News, Tuesday, September 28, 1999. I think that's over 24 years ago now, when the same Agbakoba slams the press over Tinubu. Let me just read that out. The president of the Civil Liberties Organization, CLO, Chief Olisa Agbakoba San, has berated the press over the perjury allegation against Governor Bola Tinubu, widely reported in the news media. Chief Agbakoba, who was at the Lagos State House of Assembly last Friday to honor a summon, said he was invited by this investigative panel set up by the House to advise the panel of the constitutional implication of the matter. According to Agbakoba, he said to them, "Even you, the press, haven't done a good job. So I think it is important that the press also return to the duty of making things clear." The same press now that are not supposed to talk about it, that he's saying they should not, all right? We all know there's something to be said or done about forged certificate, but the whole thing was jumbled. I think the only clear one was Buhari's case, which is the Salisu Buhari, the one that also forged his certificate in that same 1999. He was the Speaker of the House of Representatives. At the end of the day, he resigned. He was also sentenced to jail 2 years, and then later he would receive a presidential pardon. According to Agbakoba, even you, the press, haven't done a good job, he said. So I think it's important that the press also return to the duty of making things clear. We all know there's something to be said or done about forged certificate, but the whole thing was jumbled. I think the only clear one was Buhari's case. Even that of Nwerem was badly done. The best investigation was in the case of Buhari. So what Buhari's case has done is to set a standard that we cannot deviate from. And what is that standard? Buhari, Salisu Buhari. So when you say Buhari, a lot of people will think it's Muhammadu Buhari. No, it's Salisu Buhari, who was one time Speaker of the House of Representatives, and then he was said to have forged his document, falsified his age and all of that. There was some other allegation against him, but he falsified a certificate that he said he had gotten from a university in Toronto. The ones of Nwerem was also the issue of identity, where they say, is he Evans, is he Evan, and that whole case also was something that went on. Agbakoba here stated that the Lagos State of Assembly was in fact facing a very testy moment, moment for democracy, and urged the legislators to consider the issue very carefully. Speaking in the same vein as in this report, Professor Itse Sage, I think is a lawyer who was appointed by Buhari to head. I heard something about corruption, but hey, at the end of the day, it wasn't what people expected. Speaking in the same way, Professor Ise Sage, counsel to Senator Tokunbo Afi-Kuyomi, said that by wading into the Tinubu matter, the Lagos State House of Assembly is trying to lay down a high standard for posterity. He stressed that no issue of public interest should be allowed to continue without a proper investigation and a report which the nation we consider a proper treatment of the problem. I think it portends good for the future of our democracy. But the whole thing about reading this thing is to see that why was it okay for the media to actually talk about Tinubu's forgery in 1999 when he was accused as a governor, and then why is it not okay for the same media to talk about this forgery case? Why do we have to wait for the Supreme Court to be the one to give us final judgment that we all have to assess? So those are the questions. What happened? Is there a different Olisa Agbakoba yesterday and Olisa Agbakoba of today. Bye.